Throughout times of my childhood, I always had the feeling that like I'd just get judged or get made fun of because I stutter sometimes, and I'd get so nervous and so sweaty that you could tell that my face was blushing. I remember 7th and 8th grade, my grades just started flopping. I started doing bad in school just because I had a mentality that I don't care about school. It would be like a constant argument with my mom that I don't want to pursue any higher education after high school. And luckily for me, my AVID class, it opened up my mind with my teacher, Ms. Hagemeister. It was just like opening a new door with just having the possibilities thrown at you. It proved to me that I was actually pretty good at writing. And so I took college composition and research, and that class actually helped me boost my confidence to realize that I'm ready to take on those assignments. Sophomore year, I was just completely lost. I just really didn't have a set career plan, and I was still kind of in the hopes and illusions of becoming like a soccer player. And so junior year rolls around, and in the summer I actually suffered an injury that sidelined me the whole season. I could tell you right now that that was definitely one of the lowest of lows that I've had throughout my life. And I remember breaking down in tears because I was just confused. And my AVID teacher was teaching us about SMART goals. My SMART goals was just to keep up with physical therapy. I was able to not only recover from a knee injury, I was able to maintain good grades in school with AP classes whilst being an AVID and having that like second family support. I realized that I'm just one resilient person. I don't stop until I get what I want. AVID really just is the key to unlock a new door filled with just possibilities and opportunities.
So first of all, I actually want to hear the Greeley people a little more. You guys were kind of quiet. So I like to believe that a key to accomplishing great things is having a team that motivates you and also has confidence in your talents. Before and throughout high school, my team has always been my immediate family. My family comes from a line of first. They were the first in their family to migrate to the US. They gave my grandparents their first grandchild. And that same grandchild, he became the first out of the family to graduate out of high school and university while being an AVID and IB. So before even entering high school, the bar was set pretty high for me. My team had been set up for me. My parents and older brother, they were the ones who answered for me when it came to appointments, and they would ask and answer any questions that I had. My parents led the charge in Spanish, while my older brother did it in English. Now, I have to ask, has anyone ever been afraid to order a cheeseburger? Because I definitely was. I was so quiet and nervous interacting with others that I couldn't even put in a simple order at McDonald's. Now, this moment has stuck with me because I used it as a key starting point to see how confident and social I've turned out. My older brother was a teammate of high school that I've grown up with. He told me and showed me firsthand what high school was, and I would soak the information and just keep it to myself. But at the time, I was still the big 13, 14-year-old that would hide behind his mommy and would let her do everything for him. I realized I had to be a big boy now, and I had to find a team that would push me throughout high school. My AVID teacher, Ms. Julie Hagemeister, she's the captain of my second team. Now, luckily for my AVID class and I, she was also in her first year of teaching AVID. At the time, and as a COVID precaution, our schedule gave us pretty much a lot of time together. We had to spend AVID, lunch, and our homeroom hour together. And whether we liked it or not, that was 3 to 4 whole hours that we had to spend with each other. Now, can anyone imagine a dystopian world where AVID has to be done in an old, rundown art room without any of the fun team building games? Well, unfortunately, that was my reality my first year of freshman AVID. And to add salt onto the wounds, at the time, we freshmen, we had the attention span of goldfish. but with the crazy addiction to technology. So Ms. Hagemeister at the time did have to force us to talk to each other because she knew that for the next 4 years, we were gonna see the same people. We did all the AVID activities, team huddles, partner shares, AB partners, the like, resembling those conditioning drills. It was that fever dream of a year that brought us tight-knit close, and it benefited all of us. In sophomore year, when restrictions were ending, Ms. Hagemeister got the class together in the commons of our school, and she made us do interview practices where we had to partner up with someone of her choosing. We would rotate and alternate on who gets interviewed and who gets to ask questions, eventually leading the class being able to get comfortable in job and application interviews. Eventually, my class became my teammates that helped me practice speaking in front of a crowd. We practiced our public speaking with slideshow presentations that were our stepping stone to getting used to speaking to a crowd. Eventually, my class became my teammates that helped me practice speaking in front of a crowd, even if they weren't paying attention to my presentations. I started enjoying my newfound social abilities. I decided I needed to be the first person in my group to do tutorials each day. I knew that I had to get used to the pressure of being showered with questions and presenting my thinking. Being at first at tutorials became a habit because, get this, my peers weren't as excited to do tutorials. Now, who here doesn't love tutorials? I see some hands, that shouldn't be going up. Those two activities were my practice on handling the pressure of speaking to a crowd and being able to turn something boring into something that can have a bit of laughter, hopefully like this speech. Ms. Hagemeister heavily encouraged me to join our school newspaper, where I'd be able to expand and see if I liked the idea of writing news for the students by a student. She saw potential that I never knew I had within myself, and it was her vision that opened up new opportunities for me. In newspaper class, I was introduced to a whole new world of journalist writing, where I had to go out and talk to random students and teachers. Now, referring to a younger version of myself, that sounded very far-fetched to what I'd put myself through. There, I met my coach, Mr. David Falter, who taught me everything needed to be an effective journalist. He had been on the sidelines watching me put his given knowledge to work as I started off as a journalist. When it was time to complete a video story, Coach Falter needed an anchor for the broadcast. I was one out of 2 students, or players, to raise their hands and was able to anchor our first video story of the year. Now, can anyone imagine what a lagging robot sounds like? Because this is exactly what I sounded like in that first broadcast. That didn't matter to me at all because I was proud of myself for doing something I had never seen myself doing. And I even had my friends or my cheer squad texting me saying, "Why are you giving the news right now?" Or "Why are you even on YouTube?" Now, ever since that moment, I haven't stopped at all. I have now traveled with AVID teachers to nearby middle schools, telling my story to hopefully get some middle schoolers to join high school AVID. I've continued to writing articles for our newspaper and showing up on the broadcast. And last year, I was even able to get the opportunity to talk to teachers from around the country at last year's Summer Institute as a student leader. Now, sometimes I think that it's all because of a cheeseburger that changed the whole course of my life. But really, all of this wouldn't be possible without my second team captain, Ms. Hagemeister, who brought out the confidence of a shy freshman and his AVID classmates. She had a vision, and I'm forever grateful that she pushed me these last 4 years. As I see her in the crowd, I can see how proud you are in not just me taking a risk, but for you to believe in me as I reach goals in my life. And as you watch just the AVID students be grateful for all the opportunities you've thrown at them and the time you sacrificed to become the best AVID teacher I've ever had. Again, I thank you, Ms. Hagemeister, for being my second team captain. But I also have my resilient parents who did everything possible without speaking English and have pushed me constantly to not only get me what I want, but where I am and where I want to be as a person. Last but not least, I have my pioneer AVID graduate brother, who not only would bully me like any sibling would, but most importantly, gave me the map to completing high school and inspired me to continue my pathway as a first-generation college-educated man. Now, all of these experiences have helped me decide on pursuing a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism at Metropolitan State University here in Denver, Colorado. Now, there is one last thing that I want to say, and I should probably get to practicing if I want to get in my career. But my name is Alejandro Silva, and thank you for joining me at this year's AVID Summer Institute here in Denver, Colorado.